I am on Patreon, and Patreon is a platform where I will upload interesting videos where you can learn astrology. Connect with me on Patreon. Much more deep insights on Vedic astrology and lot more secrets will be shared there. Hello seekers, welcome to Punneit Astrology English channel. You are watching Venus transit in Pisces, but I will make this video in 2 or 3 parts. Why? Because when Venus moves to Pisces on 28th of January, it is going to first become direct. Obviously, it's a direct motion. It leaves Saturn, enters Pisces, meets Rahu, crosses over the Rahu, reaches to the center of Pisces zodiac sign and then becomes retrograde on 1st of March. Then it has this entire retrograde motion, reaches towards the point of collision of Saturn Rahu on 30th of March. After that, it has again a forward motion back from the edge of the Aquarius Pisces transition point back to the point of exaltation, point of deep exaltation, which is 27-28 degrees of Pisces. So you know this trajectory of Venus is very long, 3-4 months trajectory. So what you have to do is break it down. So this video will focus more on Venus being direct, the first act of Venus going into Pisces, and up to the point it becomes retrograde. Now when Saturn was with Venus, this is a very practical Venus. Venus don't like Saturn because Saturn teaches all the practicality, the essential, and you have to love it. But with Rahu, Venus can imagine. You will be in utopia. This is exalted Venus and Rahu. So you will be in utopia, you will imagine a lot of things, you will be in cloud 9, and to a certain extent it can give you a sigh of relief, a kind of a relief from all the mundane boring things. But at many levels this can be very detrimental, this can be very material, this can be Maya at its full force, and this has potential to distract you. Even the strongest of the spiritual person can get distracted by the force of Maya, so be very careful with this Venus, which seems to be very powerful, very positive. It is, but only if you absorb it to a limited scope and in a controlled fashion. Let's discuss for all ascendant what this transit of Venus has to offer. But before that, do not forget to subscribe the channel, hit the bell icon so that you and Miss stay connected. And if you want to book my consultation, you can drop me an email. Now there are 2 or 3 different kind of reports that are available. These are system generated reports. It can be a transit report that you want to know what the transits of the year holds for you. It can be a full-fledged comprehensive Kundali PDF report that has a lot of details about your horoscope and 10 plus years of predictions. Or if you just want to know what are the good and bad doshas in your horoscope, whether you are Mangalik, Sadesati, what is the timeline of Sadesati in your life, some brief analysis about your chart. That report is a very new report that I have launched. You can book any of these 3 reports. The link are in the description box below. You can also see the details in the images which are going to be right in front of you. Let's start the ascendant wise analysis of Venus transit in Pisces. Aries. Now in case of Aries as an ascendant, you observe that Venus will be with the Rahu in the 12th house. Your second lord is in 12th house and your 7th lord is in 12th house. So the chances of unnecessary expenses, extramarital affairs, chances of going into a leisure foreign trip will be very high during this time. Now when Venus is approaching Rahu, the Maya is going to be very strong. The pull of Maya is very strong. Venus is not only in the point of exaltation, but it is also with Rahu, which is a combination that represents Maya itself. So you should not be getting too crazy about material stuff. Rather, material gains are very much possible. Export and import gains are possible. People working in foreign companies, multinational companies, or who want to visit a foreign country for their job or business, for you, the gains are definitely there. But you have to understand that your energies have to be very sattvic in nature. Venus has left Saturn and Venus is now moving into Pisces. Pisces is ridden with Rahu, and this is all happening in Purva Bhadrapada and Uttara Bhadrapada nakshatra. Then in February, Venus will become direct. So we are only discussing the Venus transit until the Venus is direct in the sign of Pisces. You have to be careful about how you speak and how you express yourself also. This can create controversies in marriage, and overseas business partnership is very much possible. Opening an office in a remote location is very much possible. You need to keep a tab on your expenses. You need to also take care of your feet and also touch the feet of elderly. Touching the feet of your mother every day will be a very good remedy. Chanting Mata MahaLaxmi Stotra is also a very good remedy. Taurus. Now in case of Taurus, your ascendant lord is Shukra. This Venus, when it moves into the sign of Pisces, remember that Venus joins Rahu. Rahu Venus conjunction and then Jupiter retrograde in the first house can encourage you to take shortcuts in life, buy stuff from credit cards, take loans which are unnecessary, expand your business when it should not have expanded in the first place. This can make you believe or fall into wrong relationships, believing into people who want no good for you. They are only trying to sugarcoat things. You need to be careful and you need to be very practical in your approach. Your desires are going to inflate. Your desires are going to expand. Materially, this is a very good time. You will gain financials. You will gain money. This is a transit of wish fulfillment. But when Venus is with Rahu, there can be a vikriti in the desire. That means there can be a distortion, some negative deviation in your desire, and you might expect something that you should have never expected in the first place. So be watchful of what your mind is saying. Suddenly you might feel that what's the point of not drinking alcohol? Life is to live only once, and YOLO, you only live once, and you go and drink. You know, this demonic feeling will overwhelm you and you will feel that you're enjoying everything, but you have to be very careful. You should not stray into the path of adharma. The more careful you are, the more meditative you are, the more self-control you have, the more the gains will come in your life. Also, 6th Lord is 6th from itself, so new career opportunities are very much on the cards. But what can happen is that your domain can change, your line of business can change. Suddenly, in order to get the role, you see that you are trying to please a lot of people, but whether it is in the job, to get a job, or even in your personal life. And in certain extent, certain people who have a Rahu's negative affliction on Venus in their birth chart might end up believing that they are the best. The negative superlative expression, that is also something that can create mad and ahankar, the ego and the pride in your mind. So what you should do, be humble, follow the path of Saturn. Do not allow the negative retro Mars to repeat the same mistake again, because there is always a chance that you will repeat one mistake again. Gemini. Now in case of Gemini, your ascendant is experiencing a retro Mars in Punarvasu Nakshatra. Now Venus is your 5th Lord, Venus is your 12th Lord. Now when I see that Venus, which is your 5th Lord, is in the 10th house, I tell that, yeah, this is going to be a very good time for your career. Venus is exalt, Venus is with Rahu. This will give you out of the box opportunity, something that you have not expected before. This will give you a kind of an opportunity where you will be able to learn a lot of things and you will be able to polish your talent, polish your learnings. You will be able to execute such important tasks that you can be a lone employee, sole warrior in your job. You will be appreciated for your work, but it also means that you will also have to sacrifice a lot. You will be heavily work focused. You will love to be in office, you will love to work, and this may make you kind of detach from your home, from your own marriage, and maybe partying out with your colleagues gives you more happiness rather than being out with your family. So this is where you will have to be careful, because Ketu is in the 4th house. Maybe situation at home is forcing you to take refuge in your career, but what happens is that if career goes up and down, maybe your horoscope or your Antardasha, Mahadasha has a yoga where your career might take a hit. What this Venus can do is, this Venus can create frustration, because you will be expecting things to be very good, like flowers, beautiful, But suddenly Rahu's corruption can make you take certain steps which you should not have taken. So don't do any action that may make you regret in the future. Also, Rahu Venus in the 10th house can damage your reputation. So be very careful. Extramarital affairs definitely should be avoided at this time. And this is also the time when you might meet your love of your life. You might find your spouse during this time. Whatever happens, allow the Venus to exit out of Pisces. Because when Venus exits out of Pisces, it detaches itself from the effect of Rahu, which is in Pisces, and that will also be a test. Anyways, Venus is going to stay in the sign of Pisces for a very long time. Venus will be direct, then it will be retrograde, then it will be direct again. So Venus is going to be in the exaltation for a longer than expected duration, which also means that the fight between Maya, the fight between the desire and your own will, is going to be very, very strong. On the other hand, Jupiter will become direct in the 12th house, which is very good, which means in order to achieve something, there will always be a transaction. You will have to let go. So when you are trying to ask something, always understand the price that you are paying for that happiness, for that success. Cancer Ascendant. Now in case of Cancer Ascendant, Venus rules your 11th house. Venus rules your 4th house. It rules your gains and your assets, your furniture, your house, your property, your cars. That is going to expand because Venus will move in the 9th house and it will be with Rahu. This might show unexpected gains in your life, so much so that it can make you crazy. It can be an unbelievable kind of gain. So you need to keep your nerves under control, let me tell you, because the Maya can play with your mind. The gain may just be on the books. You may not even see the gain in real life, but you will assume that you have achieved that gain. For example, suddenly one fine day, the stock market takes a proper ride up in the sky. You earn a lot of money, but is the money in your pocket? No. You might assume that this might go up tomorrow also, and you wait. The next day it falls and you're back to ground zero. See, the Venus gave the result, gave you a hint. You could have extracted the money and actually got the money in reality, but because it was on book and Maya played, you thought it will happen again and again. And this is where the greed will come into play. So if you become greedy during this time, then the results of Venus will be very negative. But if you are controlling your nerves and you are being positive, you are following the path of dharma, then things will be absolutely okay. You will be able to extract. So your expectation should also be capped during this time. There has to be a certain upper limit on what you can get from life. Also, travel, leisure related travel and hospitality industry will see a great boost and sales during Venus transit in the sign of Pisces. This is a powerful transit. 11th Lord, which is Taurus's Lord Venus, is 11 places away, and this means you will gain from your friend circle, you will meet new people, you might go into a religious pilgrimage with your friends and family. This also shows that new partnership is also on the card, especially the partnership that is happening remotely or happening at different place away from your native place. Say a person from India starts a business in UK, or you can say US or Canada, with a person who is maybe his cousin is living in USA, and suddenly there is a plan to start a company. Something like that. There can be a huge shift in the energy. On the other hand, Mars is retrograding in the 12th house, which is your career lord. That means when you are taking the risk, you should be ready to also lose few things. You have to let go of a lot of inhibitions. Rahu and Venus is also very creative. So people who are involved in creative industry, who are singers, dancers, who are script writers, if you are into the field of acting, theatre, media, you will see a great rise in your career during this time. Just be confident and follow the path of Bhagwan Shanidev. Leo. Now in case of Leo, Venus is your 10th Lord. 10th house Lord and 3rd house Lord Venus means it wants to do a lot of stuff. Such Venus goes into the 8th house, meets Rahu. Now this is a double-edged sword. On one side, this can create tremendously positive and self-induced career-related changes. But on the other hand, Rahu's Maya can confuse you also. 8th house occult and secret energies might make you get more connected towards the lust, towards the occult, and this can trigger the pleasure centers of the body where you are drawing pleasure from the unorthodox things. Now you have to be very careful here because these are the tamasic energies, and if you are not careful you will be consumed by them, especially alcohol. Also Venus and Rahu, and whenever moon will travel, like so for example 2nd of February when moon is in the 8th house, this can make you break the boundary, break the inhibitions, and you can live a not so regular or unorthodox life. You can deviate your path to a very different kind of path. Say for example, on a material level, this can be like you can break away from your marriage, or you decide to find a love or life partner not from the local place. There are many other examples, obviously some of which cannot be said on YouTube, but on the other hand, this can also be a great pull towards occult. Praying to Mata Mahakali, Mata Kamakhya, under the guidance of a guru is very good during this time. So if you are seeking the guidance and blessings of a guru, you might get one. Also, praying to Goddess Lakshmi by chanting Shri Sukta will help you get rid of any financial stress. And if you are looking for investment, always look for long-term investment. Short-term gains just because Venus is exalted can be very dangerous. It is very sweet, but a sweet poison. So remember, focus on the long-term gains rather than the short-term success. 3rd house lord being in the 8th house also shows that you can start some business with your siblings, cousins, and you need to be careful with people who are telling that they are close to you, but they are not really close. They are acting to be closer to you. They are just pretending that they are your well-wishers. You will have to be very careful, and this is where the Jupiter's direct motion from 4th February will come handy, because Jupiter will be direct in the 10th house. And if you follow the guidance of Dharma, if you follow the protocol of life, you know, if something seems to be odd, you call it out. If something seems to be odd, you be careful, and you just don't go with the flow, but try to also bring your focus on all the weird things that is happening around you and try to stay away. People who are having a negative Venus in their birth chart should be very careful, and one way to handle this energy is doing a MahaLaxmi Pujan. Virgo. Now in case of Virgo, Venus is exalted in the 7th house for marriage, for new business, new partnerships. This is going to be a wonderful time. But because Venus was with Saturn, and Saturn was in Aquarius, and Venus was with Saturn, this was a very practical time for you. Suddenly Venus comes with Rahu. Be very careful of the instant and immediate success that you get during this time. There can be a sudden change of environment and sudden change of the looks around you. For example, you change your office, the infrastructure in your home gets changed. You plan to buy a new car, you want to redecorate your place, you want to repaint the house. All that can happen, and that is absolutely fine. But what you should not do is overspend on it. Be very practical in your spending. Be very practical in your approach towards life, because Rahu Venus can create Brahm, confusion, illusion. Now Venus is your 2nd and 9th lord. So this definitely shows gain of business. People who are suffering from kidney or diabetes should be careful with their health during this time. Also, you need to be very careful if your approach is to travel a lot or to have relationships with multiple partners. This can be extremely detrimental to your health. Venus and Rahu in the 7th house can also create controversies in marriage, unexpected relationship or love related complications. So try to keep things very simple, and the more clear and transparent you are, and simpler you are, the better your life will be. Mars is retrograding in Punarvasu in the 10th house, which may show some old things might come back and haunt you. Some old complications, some old controversy might hit you. So be very careful. Jupiter's direct motion in the 9th house means from 4th February means that if you follow the path of dharma, if you do some anusthana, if you visit a temple, MahaLaxmi temple if possible every day, and if you chant Vishnu Sahasranam and Lakshmi Sahasranam, you will be able to achieve a lot. 7th house is also about new marriages, new partnerships. So definitely Venus and Rahu in the 7th house can create marriages or situation which was seemingly impossible before can now become possible. Technology wise, Venus and Rahu can give you great tech advantage. Who are tech reviewers, tech experts, if you are into the technical side of the film industry, you can see great career boost during this time. So if you really want to open a tech YouTube channel, maybe this is the time. Now in case of Libra as an ascendant, your ascendant lord is ruled by Venus, which will be in the 6th house. Now 6th house is a little complicated space for a planet like Shukra. On one side, your ascendant lord is in the Aribhava, house of disputes, house of difficulties, but also an Upche house. That means the more difficulties you overcome, your chance of securing a job, livelihood is higher because now you're solving a problem. So Venus in the 6th house brings your focus to solve a problem in a very creative manner. So if you are a creative artist, dubbing artist, if you are a creative, say, set designer, art designer, then this is going to be a very positive time for you. On the other hand, Venus also rules your 8th house, and 8th house means all the ups and downs. 8th house lord goes in the 6th house, gets exalted, which means all the ups and downs is going to give you positive results in the end, but you need to have that patience. On the other hand, this is a Vipareet Rajyog. Now Vipareet Rajyog is very strong in your horoscope, and with Rahu coming in the 6th house, this definitely shows that there will be enemies who will act very sweet. There will be enemies who will disguise themselves as a friend. So when you are claiming that he is my friend and he is my enemy, friend or foe, you need to be very careful. You need to have that feeling. You need to believe your gut feeling. You need to believe your inner aura, and you need to take care of your health. Whenever the ascendant lord moves to the 6th house, it is best that you focus on your overall holistic health. Follow the path of spiritual lifestyle and holistic lifestyle. And Venus in the 6th house can create unexpected controversy and problems and hurdles in the matters of love and relationship. This may also terminate any relationship, and out of the blue you might experience an enemy. So my suggestion will be that if you have any problem, do not involve a third person in your relationship. A third party's involvement can destroy a lot of things, but if you really want your marriage to work, and if it is not in the right shape, talking to a counselor, healer, an elderly person will definitely help here. Venus and Rahu in the 6th house can also give great success in the field of leather, in the field of defense, and also in the IT and communication sector. On the other hand, Mars, which is retrograding in the 9th house, will become more stable in the 9th house, which also ensures that your finances are in a better shape. Venus and Rahu can encourage you to take loans that are too heavy on you, and you may live your life on credit cards, or you may want to expand. Say for example, you want to buy a Mercedes car, but you can't afford it, but there is a good scheme running and there's a discount scheme running, and you think you are deserving the car, and you go and buy that car in that EMI, but after 3 months you realize that the EMI is too big. So now it may come across as something that is possible, but tomorrow it can become a very difficult task. So when you say something is possible today, you need to have that vision of sustainability for the upcoming few months and years. But overall, Venus in the 6th house is something that can give you some trouble. So be careful. This can create a huge imbalance in your life. Scorpio. In case of Scorpio, Venus rules your 7th house and 12th house. 7th house being the house of marriage and relationship. With a stable Jupiter after 4th of February, this Venus transit shows that new relationships, a new lease of life is possible. You might also get to learn more about your life partner. You might get to see a lot of secrets, something that you have never seen. You are going to see a very different side of your life partner during the Venus transit. Now Venus is exalt, your 12th house is also exalt, which means there can be investments coming in business. There may be expenses in business which might increase the operating cost. There might be expenses in marriage, so maybe you will plan a very lavish wedding for yourself or for your children during this time, and you might go overboard just to show or prove. Now that will not be considered good by Saturn, which is in the 4th house. So the recommendation will be, the more you want to spend, takes a fraction of it, say 1% of what you really want to spend, and donate to somebody who is in need. In this way, at least you are doing something for the society, and when you do something for the society, the Mangal, which is causing the Vipareet Rajyog in the Kundali, will start showing positive results. And Venus and Rahu is not just the Maya, but you're using the Maya to help someone who is getting troubled by the Maya. And this is where, if you are rich or affluent, this transit will create a responsibility for you. If you're facing any monetary issues, what you have to do is you will have to control your expenses. You will have to put yourself into the right company and right circumstances. And this might be the time when there can be unexpected trouble between your business partners. Now your business partner can suddenly become your life partner during this time, or your life partner can become your business partner. You might start something with your life partner. All that is possible, especially people who are actors, who are models, who are into the media and the glamour industry, makeup industry, creative industry. You will see great boost in your name, fame and success over a period of time. It's a very positive transit, it's a very beautiful transit, and kinds of counters the negative energy of Mangal, which is your first lord in the 8th house. Sagittarius. Now in case of Sagittarius, Venus rules your 6th house, and 6th from 6th, 11th house. So Venus rules all the Upachya houses, and then Venus goes in the 4th house, which means that there can be an unexpected and sudden gain of property during this time. There can be a sudden change in your office environment during this time, because Venus aspects the 10th house. This also means that the luxury will be, you will be blessed with luxury. But what you will have to do is, you should not go with the flow and spend a lot of money. Rather, try to be as practical as possible. Using a lot of white colors during this time will be really helpful. Praying to Mata MahaLaxmi, Mahakamakhya, Bhagavati, chanting Shri Suktam, Lakshmi, Sahasranam will be a very efficient way to handle the Venus energy. You will feel very happy, blessed, and you will be kind of in bliss. So for Sagittarius, this is going to be a wonderful transit. But what you should do is, you should not get too indulgent, too involved in the pleasures of life. You will see the gains and profits coming your way, and that should not be considered as something that is going to be always there, always like that. So the more practical and the more minimalistic you are during this time, the better your life will be. If you focus on your health and you don't drink too much, if you don't eat too much, if you focus on your overall eating habits, and if you focus on not getting indulgent into eating chocolates and ice creams and drinking and partying with the friends, then you will be all right. This is the time when you will have a good time with your family members and may meet some extended family members also. There can be an international travel and trip. So somebody who wants to travel abroad for business, for job related sector, or if you have any visa related problems, this can resolve visa related issue. People who are running salon, spa, wellness centers, crystal healing, Reiki, Vastu, interior designing of any kind or any similar field, you will see great career boost when Venus and Rahu meets in the sign of Pisces. Also, people who want to go into merchant navy, students who want to pursue their dream in pursuing their career in navy, merchant navy, or any other water related activity, or if you want to study about oceans, ocean structure, oceanography, all that is going to be a niche skill development that will happen when Venus will be in the sign of Pisces. So overall, for Sagittarius, I will say it's a very positive time, and it's a great time, just that the health of your mother or the mother of your spouse can be a little concerning during this time. Capricorn. Now in case of Capricorn, if you observe that Venus rules your 10th house and 5th house, and such Venus, when it goes in the 3rd house, your creative expression becomes very, very powerful. Your voice becomes very influential, sweet. And with Rahu and Venus, it shows that you can manipulate people's mind and their thought process through your own voice. So if you are a psychologist, if you are a counselor or healer, then definitely this is going to be a very good career opportunity for you. This is going to be a very good time for you. On the other hand, this is going to improve your relationship with your brothers and siblings and friends. But in certain cases, it can damage the relationship with your sisters. So be careful there. People who are the dubbing artists, people who are mimicry artists will definitely see that their life is getting much easier, their career is giving them more revenue, and overall they are experiencing very positive time. On the other hand, the 3rd house also represents short-term travel, so it can initiate leisure travels, it can initiate travel to some places of interest where you always wanted to buy something, purchase something. Definitely this is going to be a very good time. If you are a nail artist, if you are doing something with your hands such as painting, if you are a musician or anything related to art and craft that has to do with your hands or involves the hand movements, or if you are a Hasta Mudra expert, if you are a yoga expert, definitely this is going to be a very positive time. So Venus here is actually a very comfortable Venus, a positive Venus, more a Venus that is more expressing itself. With Rahu, it can just have a over the top expression, so controlled and toned down your expression. Otherwise, it will be too loud for others to understand and you may be misunderstood otherwise. So be careful there, and also on the flow, do not say something in excitement that you should not have said. So when you are speaking, think 10,000 times what words you are using, and then you can express yourself. Aquarius. Now for Aquarius, Venus is Yoga Karaka, 4th Lord and 9th Lord. A 9th Lord in 2nd house is definitely a time where you will be able to achieve a lot in your career, in your business. This is going to bring revenue from assets. This is going to bring increase of wealth. This is also going to create a homely atmosphere, a friendly atmosphere in your family, and something auspicious can happen. In fact, you can gain assets and properties, and say you want to purchase a house or you want to invest in a property. This can be a very good time, and in fact Rahu can make you this FOMO, fear of missing out, and you may end up spending even where you should not have spent, thinking that you might get money in return, profits in return. You need to check the ROI on a very practical level, and once you do that, and if everything is fine, you can definitely take the decision. But otherwise, you need to listen to the family members, especially the elderly. For you, there definitely can be a family related travel or a family trip during this time, which is very auspicious, very positive. Overall, this is going to give you a very positive smile on your face. That means if you want to go for dental correction, smile correction, that is also possible. People who are connected to these kind of field are also going to see their career rising, and Venus and Rahu in the 2nd house shows that your command over the words and your expression will be very positive, pleasant, and people will love that. Just ensure that Rahu's corruption means you can speak something out of jealousy also. You can speak something in a very superlative emotion, and that can hurt other people's sentiments and feeling. For that, you need to say what you can digest. That means if you say something to someone, somebody will also say something in return. You should have the capacity to absorb that. Otherwise, this will create unnecessary verbal battles. So be careful. Otherwise, this is a very good time, especially if you're a dietitian, if you are into physiotherapy, if you are into emotional wellness. This is going to be a very positive time for you. It's a time where you will meet your family members, you will have a good dinner together, and you will have some lovely moments to cherish. So for Aquarius, I will say it's a very positive time. In fact, a time where there is bhagyodaya. Pisces. Now finally, Pisces is going to experience a very powerful Venus transit on your ascendant, and if you're a Pisces moon sign, this will make you very, very happy, sometimes too happy, impractically happy. Why? Because Rahu is on the moon, on your ascendant, then Venus goes on top of that. See, Venus is 3rd and 8th lord. When 8th lord comes on the 1st house, naturally you would want to change something about yourself. 3rd house means it's your own initiative, it's your own expression. So your body language, your overall expression is going to become very positive, very influential. With Rahu and Venus, this means it is going to be also expressing on the material side. That means your dressing sense, your hairstyle, your look, your language, your body language, your overall expression, personality is going to develop, and it will have a very positive attitude. But this can also create arrogance if it is not checked. That means one side it is becoming positive, but you also need to know the level of positivity you think you are in. Otherwise, it can be toxic positivity. Too much positivity is also bad. So here you will have to be careful. Venus in the 1st house is going to give you good looks, good feeling about life. Rahu can just make you feel more exaggerated. Say for example, you want to be free, you want to explore, you want to reunite with your friends, you want to enjoy your life. So these kind of emotions will run in your mind and can overwhelm you, especially if you are in a very mundane activity, if you are in a 9-to-5 job doing the repetitive things. Then the Venus and Rahu conjunction on one side can be a sigh of relief, where there are some lovely moments to cherish. But if you don't keep it under control, if you don't remind yourself with the responsibilities that you have to carry, then the Venus and Rahu can trick you into believing that leave everything behind and party hard. That is a big challenge with Venus and Rahu. It's like instead of doing the work that you're supposed to do, you are hitting the gym, you are hitting the disco, you are going to the pub and bar. Nothing wrong, but not at the time where you should be in office, which means time management will be a big problem. There will be a lot of distractions around you. A lot of things will attract your emotion, your attention, and this means that you will have to be careful while using social media, while you are spending time on activities that actually don't produce any positive result. So what you should do is you should be very analytical about everyday actions, everyday routine, and try to bring a positive change in you. If you think you are unable to do something, this is the time to prove. Whatever you do, you should understand there is always a limit that you cannot cross, and you better be accepting to the fact that that limit is good for you. Now, with retrograde Mars in the 4th house, it also shows that you will do something about yourself. You will buy, you will give yourself treats, you will do things that you always liked, and all that is absolutely beautiful about Venus being present in the 1st house. It's a very positive transit, but I will again repeat only one thing. Sugar is sweet, but too much of sweet is poisonous.